What I'd like to share is 2 points. And I believe these 2 points take a maturity to listen to them and even more so to implement them. And what we can label this is people believe what they are going to believe. That, on a certain respect, unless change is made, is the nature of life. People believe what they're going to believe. I read an interesting paper recently. Researchers took two groups of people with opposing political views on a particular topic, and then gave them each statistics and other relevant data, hard facts about that particular topic. They discovered something very interesting. They discovered that regardless of which side of the argument they were on, people believed the facts that supported their view. This is something very interesting to think about, that we may be presented facts and figures, and what we will do is we will color those facts and figures with the beliefs that we already hold. What we believe isn't just about objective facts. It's about our whole outlook on the world. And this is really complicated. It's a complicated mix of how we were raised, our past experiences, what our friends believe, who we want to impress, for example, how we see ourselves. The whole concept of belief is often applied to spirituality because it has much more to do with faith than with facts. My beliefs, your beliefs. Something very deep to think about. And it's sometimes something you can't really argue with, however much you would like to. In reality, you can ask yourself the question, when was the last time you had a heated debate with somebody and ended up saying, oh, actually, yes, I hear that, I agree with you, you're quite right, I've changed my mind. My friends, I think we can come to understand it almost never happens. Because we all debate the facts, however, it's a really small part of what makes up our beliefs. For example, racist, non-racist, anti-Semitic. We have all of these different communications, immigration, the job market, what to do about crime, whatever it may be. It's not necessarily about the facts that we hear. What we can say is what really happens is formed of the basis of life experiences, usually without thinking. We've gone through experiences. We have taken those experiences, as we've mentioned in our last recordings. Then we've assembled those experiences. They've become our beliefs. We associate, we select and associate, and we string together, creating these beliefs. So really what we can say is, on a certain respect, the basis of our beliefs come from gut feelings. They are post-rational. We look for facts that back up already what we believe. The issue is we're not necessarily aware of it. So sometimes we fool ourselves into thinking that our view is more logical and makes sense than our opponent's one, where really we're not discussing what we would say are the facts on the table. We're discussing already a pre-experienced belief about something. And the problem is sometimes words, facts, and statistics are tools that we have become hardwired to believe that really is affecting our change. However, maybe we can think about, I'll challenge you to think about, maybe it's not so. And maybe it is a reality where I'm coming in with predetermined beliefs, and then I leverage that information in front of me to support that which I already believe. Think about that. What we can say is sometimes nothing can change your mind apart from you wanting to change your mind. The other person may not necessarily be changing your mind. It's you who chooses. That doesn't mean it's impossible. However, it's not always easy, and it needs to come from within you. Now, what happens is that over years, because you have different experiences and go through different things, you may change a belief. You may change your opinion. And this is something incredibly important to think about. But the premise, the reality check, that as we meet life, we are always relating to our beliefs in the present moment. And when we hear something, if it supports that which we already believe, there's something to talk about. And many a time, if it doesn't support me, okay, that's it. I don't believe we're stuck. I believe what needs to happen is that we need to learn to listen. We need really to learn to listen. So if a person's speaking, before you make judgment calls, slow your inner mind down, get into a state of consciousness. Listen to what the other person is saying. Try to understand from their outlook. What led them to believe this? You can ask that question. It's a very powerful question. What led this person to behave in this way? What led this person to believe in this way? And sometimes it's very rational. When a person gets defensive, maybe they were hurt. Maybe there's a family background that you are not aware of. Maybe there is a historical background you are not aware of. So to slow down and to listen is number one. Number two, to try and understand, where are they coming from? What led them to believe this belief? And you can as well ask yourself, well, I'm listening in regards to agreeing or disagreeing. What's my background? Where am I coming in order to say what I'm saying? And just to be aware of that. You could still disagree, it's okay. And sometimes you can agree and it's okay. And sometimes even maybe somebody will change your mind. But it's to think about it. It's to become a conscious practitioner of thinking about what you're hearing. And even, excuse me, even reflecting back what they have said to let the other person know that you have heard. You've heard them. You've really listened to them, and think about it. So for this week, or for the next few days, take this into consideration. When you interact with somebody, again, people are always going to believe what people are going to believe. Be aware of that. Be aware of that in your life. Be aware of that in the life of somebody else. And give somebody compassionate, conscious listening. Give somebody the gift of really being seen and heard, that you've really listened to them. Give somebody that you can even reflect what they are saying. Give somebody the opportunity for you to listen to yourself as you communicate with others. What drew them to believe in this? And you can even ask it. I do that very often. I ask the person, let me ask you a question. What led up for you to believe what you are believing? What's happened in your life for you to believe this belief? Sometimes you're in a conversation where it's a sincere conversation, you can ask that. You can ask yourself the same question. So Be'ezras Hashem, beautiful Chevra, through being conscious listeners, through knowing that in a lower self we're always going to believe what we're going to believe, through knowing that we can become more mature and we can open up to different viewpoints, think about how that would be if all human beings did that. I may still hold on to my beliefs, but I really heard the other person. Maybe sometimes my belief will evolve because I've heard something different. Maybe through compassionate listening, a person feels safe to say, oh, you know what? I'm going to think differently about this. Thank you. Okay, may we have bracha, mazel, and hatzlacha in all our endeavors.